these recruiters have been looking for people in Nigeria. Honestly, the current company I work in right now, the Nigerian population that were employed from Nigeria, I know nothing less than 10 people right now.
Wow.
Not less than, yes, that came from Nigeria, and they are actively still looking for. So that's why, like, if you're going to sit down for 5 years learning a skill, or sit down for 5 years learning nothing, the 5 years will still pass.
Mhm.
Which one do you want to do?
For Malta now, can you just go into a bit more detail about how this opportunity with Malta came about? It seems like, similar to Dubai, you weren't actively looking for a role in Malta.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about that, please.
Yeah, so the same thing kind of happened, but this was now again from the power of LinkedIn. So, I always, what I try to do on my LinkedIn profile is I try to, update my current projects, update my things, all that. So, and again, I said these recruiters are always on LinkedIn looking for people. So, the current company I'm working for in Malta now, they are looking for people, and they sent out, they outsourced the recruitment process to a recruiter, and these recruiters have been looking for people in Nigeria. Honestly, the current company I work in right now, the Nigerian population that were employed from Nigeria, I know nothing less than 10 people right now.
Wow.
Not less than, yes, that came from Nigeria, and they are actively still looking for. So that's why I keep telling you, and how will they find you? LinkedIn. I cannot even stress it enough. Build your LinkedIn profile. Build your LinkedIn. It's your eye to the world in terms of, in the job market.
Are you comfortable giving the name of this company, Ikenna? Just for context, and it's fine if
Oh,
you can't.
no, yeah, sure, I am. I currently work for KPMG Malta. Well,
Okay.
it's KPMG. It's not actually not KPMG Malta. It's KPMG UK, but the MBS, the Microsoft Business Solutions, which has the branch in Malta.
Okay.
So when the recruiters found me and the rest, okay, first of all, if you want to migrate here, most especially if you're coming from a place like Dubai, please don't look at the money. The money is never going to be anything compared to what you're getting in Dubai, because most especially like Malta is one of the places that has the salaries and the rest are not much. So if I had to look at the money, I would have dropped the offer like hot potato. It was just not at all. It was a huge pay decrease and the rest. However, like you said, you have to have priorities straight. What are your long goals, and what do you want to achieve? So when they reached out to me and everything, I saw the role, I saw prospects of growth, I saw the fact that I could move there and then actually have some stability in there. I kind of just took it, grudgingly, because it's a bit like, yeah, yeah.
Comparing the funds.
And not just only that, it's moving. I mean, Martin, leaving everything you've known behind and just going to a whole new country that you do not know about. Just moving is brave. It's really brave. Going from you being in your comfort to be uncomfortable is brave. But I mean, no one grows just sitting down in comfort. I mean, even that's why they're saying growing pains, right? You grow through pain. So it's brave. It can be scary and the rest, but you have to kind of do so. The whole point of me even moving and trying to get, but yes, it took a while. The process did take a while, because trying to get a Schengen visa takes a while.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it really
Okay.
does.
And well, now that you've gone into that, please talk to me about the process. But after that, on the type of visa you've gotten now, what's the path towards permanent residence, for example? So if you could just start with your process of getting the Schengen visa, and then
Yes.
we'll touch on the second part.
Okay. So because I was getting this job just after the COVID. Well, that was 20. Well, I actually started last year, but I got the job beginning of the year.
Right.
I was legible to actually have applied for my visa there in Dubai, but the problem was that there were no appointment dates till about 6 or 7 months later. Yeah, for some reason, Malta takes things really slowly, and then um, because of that, they had to now go through a little bit of a longer route for me. So the process was I had to fill an application online, pay the visa fees, pay the insurance because you must pay an insurance that insures you for about 180 days, pay the visa fees, and then submit it to the central visa unit in Malta, which they will take about a month or so to check, and then they will send you. Then they will ask you to send in your passport. You have to mail in your passport, and this goes for people in Nigeria. And the reason I'm actually saying this is it's because this is the process you will go through in Nigeria. If you were in Dubai, you wouldn't have to go through this process. If you were in Dubai, you could have gone to the central visa unit and done it there. But because in Nigeria we don't have any of that, this is the process you go through. So you have to fill out, pay your visa fee, send your passport in to be stamped. Now once and that takes about to mail from Nigeria to Malta will take about a week or two.
Okay.
And then once it gets there, it will still take about another 3 weeks or so or more to now send it back to you with a stamp visa. What they will give you that the visa they'll give you is called a Schengen visa. A Schengen visa is actually always they usually give for 3 months, 90 days. This visa allows you to come into the into Europe or any of the Schengen zones, which are about 26 countries, and move around for 90 days.
Okay.
Now, however, coming in here, we will now have to now process your resident permit or your work permit in Malta. Once you come in, almost very similar to what happens in Dubai, you do your medical, you um, you get your lease contract to show that yes you have a job, your employment contract, your lease to show you have a house and all that, and then you go in and submit that. That takes maybe about a month after you've come in. You should be able to get your residency permit. Once you have that, then your visa is irrelevant. So, but try to do that before your visa gets expired.
Hmm.
If your visa gets expired and you've not done that, it's usually very bad.
Oh, wow.
So I've heard, yeah, because but usually they know that once you've come in, so once you come in, don't take so long to to try and start that process. So once you come in, start the process. Usually, if you're going to be coming into Europe, you should be coming in with a work visa. But
Hmm.
if you don't have a job and you just came into the Schengen areas and you try to look for a job, you can. But if you do get a job, let your employers try to fast track the process of getting this. At least in Malta, I don't know about other European countries. Now, once you have that, um, every year you need to renew it. I think now they're trying to make it every 2 years. You need to renew
Okay.
your work permit. If you've stayed here working for the next 5 years, you are eligible to have what is called um you're now eligible to have permanent residency.
Okay. Okay.
5 years, yes. After 5 years, you're able to apply, and then once you apply, it allows you, to have permanent residency. And what that gives you means that you're not going, you can stay in Malta without being tied to, of course, a job. You can live and work in not just in Malta, but in any of the. I don't think it's only the Schengen, but I think in any of the European countries because it's
Okay.
in EU. Yes, so you can live and work in any of the EU countries, and of course, and then I think after um, some people say it's 10, some people say it's 10, 12 years. But I think after 10 years, you can now apply for citizenship.
Citizenship. Okay.
Yeah. Now citizenship, of course, is at the discretion of the Maltese government.
Hmm. Okay. And as you're saying it, I'm just trying to think to myself, considering your permanent residence will give you access to all the countries in the Schengen zone, for example, when the time comes to apply for citizenship,
Hmm?
do you have to apply for citizenship from the country that issued you a permanent residence? Essentially, what I'm trying to understand is if I've been in the Schengen area for a while, and in that case, Malta, but actually the time comes for citizenship, and actually I would have preferred to have a German or Dutch. Is that possible, or will I have to, is the only option available to me the country where I was able to work and where I was
Yeah.
able to get permanent residence?
Yeah. From what I do know, no, you can't be in, because every country has their own different things. Because
Gotcha.
I think Germans have a requirement that you must even learn German. You must
Right,
learn
okay.
German to even become a citizen. Just from what I know, I have a couple of people that are there. So everyone has different requirements. What I think is generic across is you getting that, resident permit to live
Mm.
in the EU because of the EU's structure of being
Free
together.
movement,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Free movement. You do have, once you're an EU citizen or you have permanent residence in the EU, you have a lot of other things. So you can work in the EU, you have healthcare and all those kind of things, right? Like for example, me that I'm just only having a work permit, but I'm in the Schengen area. I can travel freely. I don't need a visa to travel to France, to Amsterdam, to anywhere. So I can just travel, but I just have a work permit.
Gotcha.
So if I have a permanent residence permit, I have more opportunities for myself.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Now, in the time you've spent in Malta, because you really broke down types of skills that are in high demand in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
From your time in Malta so far, say there's someone in Nigeria now that is looking to move to Malta. From the time you spent there now and from your assessment of it, again,
Yeah.
what types of skills, what types of jobs should people be looking at, and what type of skills should they be looking to get to be able to get those types of jobs direct from Nigeria?
Yeah. Um, Again, IT.
Okay.
Malta is huge, yeah. So Malta is huge on gaming. So if you're already good in programming, design, yeah, that's another thing I forgot. UI UX design, huge. If you're good in
Okay.
UI UX design, you know how to use Adobe, you know how to use most especially Figma. You're huge in these things. You get so design. Malta is huge in the gaming, and if a gaming industry or a gaming company calls you, you're going to be getting big money. And IT, basically, IT is the Malta is a very small place. For those who don't know, it's a very small island. It's an archipelago of islands in southern Europe, in
Yeah.
southern Europe. So it's quite small, population of about 600 and something thousand people. So it's quite small. So it just means that they don't even have enough people to do the jobs that they want. So they need people. So
Yeah.
if you're even asking for that, they need people. Another thing I will say is that if you want to also like leave and come to Malta, apart from skill, one of the things they also try to get is um education. If you know you want to take a degree course here, Yale, to learn English or something. A lot of people come here to try to learn English and the rest, and then from there they integrate into the system. That's also good. The only reason why I usually don't say education all the time is because there's a barrier to entry, right? So you have to actually have a lot of money. You pay the school
Yeah.
fees, you have to do the program and all that. But of course, if you're 18, 19, 20, you want to come in and you're trying to look for places that can help you and all that. And let's say the US is not working, the UK, Canada, and all other places. Yeah, schooling is also very good to come into Malta. I think a lot of people do come in like that also. But I always advocate for skill. I always advocate for skill because it's just the best to do. And I've seen it so many times where I've had friends. I mean, I don't know how many friends I have that have just been going around the world because of skill. I was with a friend in Kenya where I worked there for a while, and then the guy went to Qatar, and he even left Qatar before me because he had skill, and a company in Germany took him. I mean, it's skill is just important. Just once you just keep bringing your skill, people will just keep looking for you. So I just
Mm.
feel people just should build skill.
I think that's you've made it very clear that that's the core of your message. So I
That's the
think for
core.
everyone
That's the
listening, just and there are a lot of resources now to grow your skills.
so many,
So
so many.
some are free. There's YouTube. Some on places like Udemy, you can take your time, look at what people have curated, and then pick what's best. But there are a lot of opportunities there. Okay, just out of curiosity, why is gaming big in Malta?
Thank you. I don't know.
That's
I
true. I'm
really,
quite
I really
curious. I
don't
don't
know
know.
why it's big in Malta, and I haven't seen anything that is too like. I mean, since I've not been in Malta for too long, I've been here for about 8 months,
Hmm.
but I've not seen anything that shows me, wow, oh, this really is the gaming center. But I guess maybe it's just easy to set up,
Yeah.
and maybe they have lesser tax and all that. But yeah, gaming is big, and people who are in the gaming industry work get a lot of money. But yeah, and that you really require you need to learn things like Unity, Java, C Sharp, and all the rest. But again, don't 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 change yourself. I think. Sorry, I'm going off a bit here, but I think one of the things that people I think are scared of is when you say skill and rest, people start to look at the timeline, like what skill will they ever work and all that. But you see, the thing is this: if if you're going to sit down for 5 years learning a skill, or sit down for 5 years learning nothing, the 5 years will still pass.
Hmm.
Which one do you want to do? Do you want to sit down for 5 years doing nothing or trying, or 5 years learning something? That time will still pass. Don't look at the time. The time is not the time doesn't mean it. Just have goals, set what you want to do, and the time means nothing. That the time will definitely happen. It's just something I think people will need to.
Yeah.
From my experience, whenever I tell people, "Hey, learn this thing," and then I just think again is that people are not necessarily guided as much. Like you say, oh, skill. Oh, yes, I learned program, but I never knew what to do with it, and the rest is exactly. It's like, how do you go from writing your first program to landing a job, or but there has to be intention, consistency, determination, and effort in all those things, right? You have to just keep doing those things, and then putting yourself, you know being ready for those opportunities. Sometimes all these people do, and they're not just ready for it, thinking that, oh no, when the opportunities come, we'll not. No, be ready for it. That's what makes success. Opportunity meets readiness, and you'll be successful.
That's useful. In just rounding up now, Ikenna, in the 8 months you've been in Malta, this one is more trivia rather than specific to skills or the line of your work. In the 8 months you've been there now, what's one thing that has now come out to you almost as a first impression of Malta that you think people will be surprised to learn, or people have no idea about?
I don't know how many people know much about Malta,
I
but
think very few.
very few. Okay. Okay, well, I'll tell you something. Once you get to Malta, there is a cultural shock, both cultural and environmental shock. Malta is a beautiful island. I won't take it away from you. But if you're coming in from a little bit more developed country, you will be thrown aback that this is a European country. Not that it's not beautiful, but it's not a par with places like Paris,
Okay.
Netherlands, Sweden.
Okay. Okay.
And because it's small, it's really small. So I don't really down them for that, because it's really small and it's a very rocky island and all that. But one of the things you'll get that will stand out for you is people are really friendly. People are really friendly. I mean, the Maltese are friendly. They are more accommodating, and yeah, I mean, it's quite historic. They
Mm.
preserve the Maltese preserve history. It's you get to see things from the time of the Crusades, if you're into that,
Oh
and
wow.
and we even have a national holiday for when for our Christian people, for when Paul's ship was wrecked in Malta. I mean, if you've read the Bible and how Antioch and Malta has all these things, and you get to see them. So if you're into some history and religion and the rest, you feel it in Malta. So it can be nice, and yeah, Malta has three, from what I read somewhere, 365 churches. So it looks like there's a
Okay.
church for every day of the year. But
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Malta has Malta has a lot of churches, quite historic churches built with limestone and all those things. But yes, Malta has a lot of churches.
Okay. And I suppose English is the main language there, but do they have a separate
Yes,
language that they speak?
Yes, yes. So English is primary. Everyone speaks English, so
Okay.
you don't have a language barrier. Yeah, that's another very important thing because a lot of people also look at language barrier.
Mm.
You don't have language barrier. There is a language barrier sometimes in Dubai because yeah, it's English, but sometimes you don't really get it. But here in Malta, everyone speaks English. I've not had any issues with people who don't speak English. But yes, there's a language called Maltese.
Okay.
Yeah, they speak Maltese, and then yeah, I think it's one of the things they don't make you learn Maltese, but if you want to, it's a mixture of Arabic and some Spanish, some kind of yeah. So you could hear some Italian in them and some Arabic and yeah. So yeah, but they speak it, but everyone speaks Maltese and they're quite nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's been very informative, Ikenna. Thank you very much for going into details and yeah, for throwing light on some of the very important aspects of these two countries. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'll be speaking to you soon then. Yeah,
All right. Take care. Bye.